I got some heme and some wine. So let's get turned, y'all. Let's get turned.
She a little bad, hit her with the bag.
Just kidding. That was agave and freaking pomegranate juice. Did I fool you? Hello, what's up? What's good? I'm Irene and you're watching Ireneeish, a little bit of Irene. If you're new here, make sure to hit that subscribe button. If you have already, welcome back to the channel. Today, I am celebrating 6 months of being sober, specifically quitting drinking alcohol. In this video, I'll talk about my experience being sober or quitting alcohol, and I'll answer some questions that you guys asked me on Instagram about my journey. So the first 4 questions, I'm gonna kind of clump together and answer it together. The questions were, LOL, why though? What made you decide to go sober/celibate? Why did you decide to abstain from alcohol and sex? And what inspired you to commit to going sober? So I've been sober for 6 months and I haven't had sex in 3 months. In order to properly do these questions, I think I need to take it way back and kind of give you guys a timeline on my experience and my relationship with drinking. Basically, I used to be a party girl. I started drinking when I was 16.
Drinking is very bad.
And I got a fake when I was 17.
Yo, I got a fake ID though. Yeah.
So yeah, I started young. I remember in 2011 when Hurricane Irene happened, people in my high school started calling me Hurricane Irene and put my freaking face on a hurricane because I had just started drinking and partying junior year of high school and I could not handle my alcohol for the life of me. Like, I was embarrassing. Then after a couple of years, my nickname Hurricane Irene transitioned to Slurricane. Hurricane, but you can call me Slurricane. Slurricane, strong enough to start an engine lane. And then eventually it became Blurricane because shit just became a blur and I got real wild. If you ever come to Frisco, make sure you go to Mr. Liquor on 23rd and Valencia because there's actually a Cuddy Bang named after me. Cuddy Bang is a Bay Area drink. They're like custom drinks that you can find in Ziploc bags at the corner store and all of them are different and they have like hella hyphy names. There is a Cuddy Bang named after me at Mr. Liquor. Shout out my girls Alexis and Colette for turning my alter ego into a fucking Bay Area legend. They made a Cuddy Bang named after me in 2016, I think, and it's still there and I'm so happy about it. It's hella tropical and hella fitting for me, so if you ever want to try some of that Hurricane Irene, make sure you go to Mr. Liquor. I had a lot of fun when I was younger, but I did do a lot of dumb shit that I shouldn't have been doing at that age, and when I went to college, it just got worse. Like, I would binge drink a lot and it got to the point where I would black out like almost every weekend. It was just very, very unhealthy for me and it was super detrimental to my mind, body, and spirit. Then moving forward, when I got into my last relationship in 2017, I pretty much stopped drinking and would only drink on special occasions or have a glass of wine here and there. So I was already kind of not drinking for a good 2 years before I actually quit drinking alcohol. Then when my ex and I had a falling out and I moved back home in the beginning of this year, I decided to just quit drinking altogether because I felt like I was coming back to an environment where I could easily get tempted and revert back to my old ways of drinking and partying to escape my problems instead of dealing with them face on. So yeah, that's kind of why I stopped drinking. But another huge reason was just wanting to do better and be better for myself. This past year has been a huge one for me in terms of growing and personal development. And a part of my growth was learning how to discipline myself and practice self-control. Typically, I feel like I have pretty good self-control, especially when it comes to like food or saying no to things that I don't want to do. But throughout my life, when it came to alcohol and sex, I feel like it was harder for me to say no to those things. So I knew for me that the next part of my growth would be to cut those 2 things out. The next question is how to start having a new mindset. I wish I could say that I just wanted enough and set my mind to it and it was that simple, but that's just not how life works. Sometimes you have to hit rock bottom to really decide that you need to switch up your life and do better for yourself. I think for me, I was at a point where I was just tired of being stuck in my old ways and old habits. I just didn't like the situation that I was in. I was like dealing with a lot of things in my past relationship and going through a breakup, so I had this fire under my ass to finally be the person that I wanted to become. When I decided I'm not happy with who I am currently, but not shaming myself, like knowing that I can be better. I know that it's in me. When I decided that, I just did some reflection, like where am I in my life right now and where do I want to be in 1 year, in 5 years? Who is that person? situation? What is she like? What does she do on the daily to get her to that point in life? What habits does she practice? How does she feel on a daily basis? What is her purpose? And once you understand all of those factors, it's easier to just implement that and be like, okay, if I want to be future Irene who's successful and happy and just thriving, then I need to do what she's doing right now so I can get to where she is, and then she'll thank me later. In shorter words, just figure out what your future self looks like, what do they do on the daily, and then do that, because you can't get there unless you start implementing now. The next question is, how do you deal with the temptation to relapse or give in? Honestly, sometimes I do just want a glass of wine, or I do want to pop a bottle of bubbly with my friends and actually get to drink it. On my birthday, I didn't even get to drink the champagne that my friends bought me. I didn't even get to drink the little Hennessy shot that was on my cake. But I think the biggest thing for me that doesn't allow me to give in or relapse is just realizing like, dude, I've made it so far, I'm not gonna give up now. And that's just kind of how my mind works. When I want something, I'm determined and I'm all in, and I don't give up until I've reached the finish line. So yeah, I don't know if that's helpful, but I guess I would also say replacing whatever it is that you're drinking with something else that you like. Like instead of champagne, drink a kombucha, because they're kind of similar and bubbly in that way. Or if everyone's drinking a White Claw, you could get like juice instead. That has always worked for me. But like I said, when I know that I want to do something, I'm gonna do it. I'm not easily persuaded. The next question is, what's the biggest upside of the journey? I think the obvious answer is that I don't get hangovers, which is lit, because I feel like hangovers are just a waste of my life. And I heard somewhere that your brain takes at least 3 days to fully recover after a night of drinking. Do I have time for that? No. And do I want that? Hell no. That's like the biggest upside for me. And just like feeling more clear-headed. I feel like when I was drinking every weekend, life was just kind of hazy and blurry, and I felt like life just passed me by. It was just going so fast. But ever since I stopped drinking, I'm very clear-headed. I have so much time on my hands, time to actually focus and do things that are creative and do things that I love. So it's been great for me. Oh, and another thing is, I feel like ever since I stopped drinking, I enjoy the little things more. I just notice things more and I feel happier. I don't know, is that a normal thing? Maybe it's just me. The next question is, what is the hardest part of the journey? For me, the hardest part is definitely not being able to drink with my friends and my family, or like celebrate with them, because my friends and family, we're all big drinkers. We love to gather and have some drinks, have some food. So I definitely say that the hardest part is just not being able to drink with them and celebrate with them. But at the same time, I've gotten used to it kind of, and I realize that like I'm still there. I'm still celebrating with them. That's all that really matters, is just showing up for your peoples and being with your loved ones. This is something that's not really hard for me personally, but it is something that comes up a lot when I talk to people about my sober journey and not drinking. A lot of times they're like, oh, how can you be in social situations where everyone's drinking and then you're not drinking? Like, don't you feel awkward or weird? My answer to anyone who has this question is nobody cares. They're too drunk to realize if you're being awkward or weird. If you're in a social setting where everyone's drinking, but you're the only sober one, I'm telling you, you're the one that's making it awkward for yourself, because everyone's drinking. They're too faded or buzzed to worry about how you're acting. So it's literally just all in your head. And that's for any situation, even if there's no drinking involved. If you think that something's awkward, then it's gonna be awkward. And if you're still like, oh, I don't think I could be in a social setting without drinking, I challenge you to just try it. We should be able to have fun in our purest form. We shouldn't need to intoxicate ourselves or drink in order to have a good time. I think the most important thing is just be yourself. Don't overthink anything. If someone doesn't fuck with you, then they ain't your peoples anyway. You don't need them in your life. The next question is, what is your favorite non-alcoholic beverage? Easy, boba, hands down. Give me that passion fruit, black iced tea with half boba, half lychee jelly, light ice, 25% sweet. That's my order. I love boba, I love kombucha, I love tea, I love pineapple juice. I like everything, so it's kind of easy for me to find a replacement for alcohol. And if I can't find something, water it is. Stay hydrated, friends. The next question isn't really about my sober journey, but it's more about like my celibacy. And so someone just said, why no sex? Like, what's the goal of that? For me personally, it's just to focus. I just got out of a relationship. I do not need to be having sex. I do not need to be involved in all of that messiness. I mean, it's beautiful. Like, sex and love is beautiful, but it could also get really messy, and I feel like I'm at a point in my life where I need to focus on me. I need to focus on where I'm going and not worry about anyone else. And I'm a Cancer, so I feel like for me, when I have sex, I get really attached to people, and it's just a huge intimacy bond for me, and I don't need none of that right now. The reason why I'm abstaining from sex is just to focus on me, focus on my YouTube, focus on where I am headed in life, just to find my direction, find my purpose, and not put all of my attention onto love or sex at this moment. And then the last question is, what app do you use to keep track of goals like these? I use the Days Since app, Days Since. And I really like this app because you could basically customize it to whatever you want. So I did no alcohol and no sex, but you could do like no TV, no social media. You just type in whatever you want that you're tracking. And then you could choose a start date and then it counts it from there. That was all of the questions, and I am going to be continuing on my no drinking journey for at least a year. So I'll come back with another video in February of 2021 to update y'all on my progress. After my year of drinking is over, I'll most likely go back to drinking occasionally and socially, because damn, I miss a fucking glass of wine once in a while, or popping a bottle of bubbly and drinking it straight out the bottle. I miss that. But most of all, I feel like I miss just having that interaction with my girls and like being able to drink with them. So yeah, I'm not quitting drinking forever. This is just something I wanted to do to challenge myself and to just test my self-discipline and see if I can really not drink for a whole year. What I do know for sure though is that even if I do go back to drinking, I will never ever go back to drinking the way that I did in the past, like binge drinking and blacking out. That shit is just so unhealthy and toxic for my mind, my body, and my soul. I feel so much healthier now without it, and I've been thriving in all other aspects of my life once I quit drinking. So I definitely think cutting out alcohol for the last 6 months was really good for me in terms of my mental health, my productivity, and just overall I feel more in tune and connected with my inner self. And I'm determined to make it to 1 year. So stay tuned, y'all. I hope that this video was helpful or inspires you to challenge yourself in some ways. It's fun to challenge yourself and see what your mind is capable of. I hope this video was helpful. If you liked it, please give it a thumbs up. Make sure to hit that subscribe button, and I'll see you in the next video. Until then, peace out.
Tell me, do you love me like I do? Tell me what you willing to prove, cause I ain't got nothing to lose. It's true, you mean the world to me.